it's quite messy behind me, and that's because all my music equipment has been packed down. Yes, that is right. So yesterday I got a last minute booking. It was quite a surprised one actually, because it was last minute. I never expected it. And that's what I'm going to stream talk about today. This last minute booking. So Friday, I'd been away in Leicester. We'd gone down to I'd gone down to support an event with the Layman. He took some photographs at Critical Beat. Headliners Scott Brown, Alex Prospect, and Defective. And as you can obviously imagine, it was quite a late one. We got back quite late. We don't stay over when we go to these things, and we tend to drive back unless it's like super mega far. But Leicester is like probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes away or something from us. So we do normally drive it back. If we leave about 2, we get back for about maybe 4:30, depending if we stop anywhere. Sometimes we stop for a McDonald's or something. It varies. So obviously we'd had quite a late one. So I'm flat out in bed, and I wake up about 11:30 to a message of somebody regarding a DJ, and she'd sent the message about an hour ago, and what had happened is that a DJ had pulled out. He'd been sadly rushed into hospital. So with these things, like if you more or less aren't instantly on it to text back, like you can lose these bookings, because they need a DJ in that moment. So they so they'll go around. They'll ask they'll try and find a load of different people, and sometimes it's just a case of the first person to say yes, the first person that'll do it, that can just bail them out in that moment, will get the booking. So I obviously was asleep, and I'd missed the message by about an hour. So as soon as I woke up and checked my phone, and first thing I normally do when I wake up is go through messages and see if anyone's inboxed me, blah blah blah. So I got straight on it as soon as I'd woke up and read the message and realised that, oh damn, they're after a DJ. So my friend Lee's on radio, so I'm thinking like, right, how are we gonna do this? A bit of a quick last minute thing. So obviously I'm sent a phone number, blah blah blah. So I give the number a ring, have a little talk to the woman, and I confirm the booking. Um, so we got a nice little last minute booking, 40th birthday party, and it was for last night. So obviously the other DJ had let them down on the day of the gig, and then they're like, we've got to find someone else. So obviously we end up doing the booking, and it actually went really well. But there was one hell, and I say one hell. There was an absolutely tough crowd to play for, because sort of the aim of these kind of bookings is it's kind of to try and get people dancing. And this was kind of a crowd where there's a bit of a buffet, there's a few seats in the pub, in the venue, so they're all sat down kind of talking. They're quite happy doing that. They're like, they're quite buzzed. They're just sat there talking, having a chat amongst themselves, and a bit like they're catching up with people seen for ages. And where they're playing all these different songs that obviously they had requested, and we was trying to get them to dance, and in the end we did actually get a few of them dancing, but was a little bit hit and miss. They'd dance for a little bit, then they'd go and sit back down, and then we had a few requests as well. So we had plugged the old phone in and went to YouTube to play them requests, and because they was kind of sat down for a lot of the night, we was a little bit like wondering if we've actually done all right, blah blah blah. But with the feedback we got at the end of the booking, we absolutely smashed it. So there was no worry there, which was a really good thing. So it was just a fun thing to do. It was last minute. It was unexpected, because it was a little bit of a Saturday for me where I didn't know what I was going to be doing, to be honest. part of me was thinking, do I maybe go visit the grandparents? Do I go into radio with Lee? Because we had no events on. You know, there was nothing booked in for Saturday. It was only the Critical Beats on Friday. So it was a little bit of a, I don't, you know, like, ooh, one of them sort of like nothing planned Saturdays. And I do kind of hate a nothing planned Saturday. I do like to be going somewhere or doing something. Otherwise, I don't know, just something makes me feel like it's Saturday, I should be doing something. Because I know last Saturday it was bank holiday. We had an event on the Sunday, and the Saturday just felt really like, I don't know, because we'd been somewhere on the Friday, but then because we had nothing on the Saturday kind of felt like a Sunday, but it felt like a really boring day. Like, you know, like it felt like I should be somewhere, like I should be doing something, but instead, like I was at home and in bed quite early for a Saturday night. Um, so you know, so I was a little bit unsure this week, like how the Saturday was going to pan out, and then obviously I wake up to to that booking. So they wanted 70s, 80s, 90s, and noughties. And I definitely think we definitely did the 80s justice. I had a little bit of an issue, and for some reason, not all of my 70s tunes they didn't all load for some reason. There was like I got quite a few, but my computer it was having the life of me yesterday afternoon trying to get all these tunes downloaded. And but you know, the one time I really needed it for something, the tether would go slow. You know, if I'm just at home normally and I think, oh, I fancy a mix, or I think I'm just going to browse a bit of YouTube, the tether would work fine. But then, as soon as I'm on a mission and I've got to download like 20 70s songs, some more 80s, 90s, and then about 20 noughties songs, you know, the PC decides that everything's going to run slow. You know, so something was out there to test me, I'm telling you, because it was a right pain. And you know, we had to we were gonna set off about around 6 o'clock to get to the venue, and about 5 to 6 I was still getting songs because everything was just going that slow. But towards the end, the speed started like picking up, and out you know they were downloading faster. But because I'd spent all that time getting the 70s before, and it'd gone really slow, it really lost me for time. So I'm trying to like get everything sorted, and then I was packing down and I couldn't find things, and you know when you just get stressed in the moment and you can't see things that are right in front of you, or then something's got moved and you don't know why it's got moved, and you're like, well, I never put that there, and then I probably did put it there. And you know, in that moment when you're thinking, I should be leaving now, not just packing the equipment down from my house. But I panicked too much. You know, we got there in good time. We got set up. We in time. Had time for a little break and a breather before we actually started, so it was all good. But I do like to get to a venue within a good time, just to make sure, because you never know, like sometimes you could forget a lead, could forget a wire, and you know, in this instance, the venue wasn't too far away. At a push, we could have drove back home to collect whatever was missing if we had. So sometimes I do think it's always good just to get there in good time, just in case. You never know what might go wrong, or same with venues as well. You never know what it's going to be like at their end. If where the DJ area is, you've got a few things, tables or something you have to move, and for whatever reason they've not moved it for you. And certain different things. It's just it always pays to get there, just that little bit of fraction sort of earlier. I try to think of everything, not necessarily think of bad things, but I counter in my mind that things, like bad things can go wrong, if that makes sense. So that's obviously like the score and what I do. um but yeah, I think I'm just looking. No, no, sorry. Yeah. Oh dear. Some posters fell down. I was looking at my wall and I thought there's some posters missing. Like I can't see. Look, there's posters here. Look, there's they're falling. Do you know what? I need some. But if anyone's got any suggestions about bear with me a sec, about putting posters up on wall because these. Bear with me a second, people. Um, so yeah, if you've got any suggestions on how to put these up on the wall, like, because I've tried loads of different sellotapes, and in the end, they just end up falling back down. Um, it's kind of annoying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because they keep coming back down. But yeah, I was looking at the wall and I thought, I'm sure there's a couple of posters missing. And lo and behold, there actually was. So yeah, so it was a last minute booking, and it was fun and enjoyable. It's something different to raving. You go there and you play the 70s, you play the 80s. And it's a bit different for me, gives it a little bit of a break from doing what I normally do. So it was a shed load of fun to do. And I definitely do want to do more of this kind of thing because it's where the you know what comes in to play, a little bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong, nothing but enough love for the rave scene. The rave scene is my passion, but there is a lot of people out there that want to just try and get you and use you for free. And I do, in some sense, I do believe that when you're starting out and you're pushing your name out there, that it is good. It is good to to take on sort of like loads of free bookings so you can get yourself about and get your name about. And in some sense, that's going to be worth it for you because you're pushing your name out there, and you're obviously showing people who you are and what you can do. But then when you get to some sort of extent where you've gone round enough times and you've supported a lot of events, I do believe it is time that people should at least just start accruing for like fuel travel and or maybe putting you up with accommodation and that. And there is a lot of people that will just want or they will just try to get you for absolutely nothing. And sometimes there's certain people where if they've helped me out to an extent, I don't necessarily mind doing it or for nothing. But then there's certain things where you think like, right, I've helped you enough now, supported your brand, I've come down to everyone. It's maybe time that I did just get a little something for it. Do you know what I mean? Um, so obviously, like with the sort of like DJ bookings for like birthdays and weddings, they're thinking of how much this is going to cost me before you've even asked them. Do you know what I mean? So like when you're doing a birthday or a wedding, like they're more willing to more willing to pay in that sense. Whereas doing these sort of like raves and playing these like events, they do a lot of them do in some sense. They try to get you for nothing. Um, and part of me just thinks after a while, like, you should at least bring something out of it. And some people try to put nights on, and they've got no money to do so, so they try to build a night upon all these little up and comers that will literally do it for nothing. And then they try to get a venue, but then they can't, so they get these real little venues like cricket club and stuff like that. Um, and then it's just not really that good of a night because no offences to the people that are up and coming, but it is bigger names that attract people to events, if that makes sense. So like you say you go to I don't know say a bounce night and it's full of I don't know say like up and coming stuff like that, but then there's another bounce night that's on and it's got a few up and comers, but then there's I don't know, say Andy Whitby or say Club Filler. It's going to drag and attract people to that event because people aren't going to buy a ticket and go somewhere to a load of people that they don't know. Like if they're going somewhere where they don't know a few people, but then there's like some bigger names that they do know, it makes it worth it. And I have seen these little events where they get all the DJs for free, that they're all up and comers and they still try to charge like £10, £15 a ticket, which is just absolutely mind blowing. And another thing as well, not that I like to like moan and stuff like that, but one thing that I would definitely never do is put a headliner on early so you can do the prime time slot yourself. So if I was putting an event on, I would never I would never put a headliner on earlier just so I could go on at midnight, because people come and pay. That's the person they come and pay to see. So you want them on at the respectable prime time, not necessarily on the sort of like second, third, warm up set, like when they're a headliner, it's just crazy. But like I say, I do love doing these pub sort of bookings because they're different, and they take me out of my comfort zone because I'm not going and blasting out hardcore and bounce. I'm playing something that I mean I do know a lot of the songs, but they're not something that I'd listen to on the daily basis. You know, they're just songs I've heard on radio over the years, or I've heard other people play them, or they're just that big that you do know about them. Some of them have been on TV adverts, so I do in some sense know them and I do enjoy them, but it still takes me out of my comfort zone because I'm used to like rocking up and dropping a bounce mix or dropping a hardcore set or jumping on the mic and spitting bars. But last night there was no bars. It was like, attention people, the buffet is now open. That kind of thing. Get fill your faces with the lovely food here in the corner. That kind of thing. So more sort of like announcement-y, hosty kind of, is obviously the vibe. So, but other than that, it was a really fun night, but it was a hard crowd to get dancing. They seemed more interested in just socialising, but they did enjoy the music in the background. They said, which was a good thing. It shows that they were still enjoying us, even though they were at the forefront of the dance floor, dancing all the time. And a few of them did come up and dance as it got a little bit later on. They did have a little bit of a sing along, and they did enjoy it. They really enjoyed the vibe and the music. And I think one of the blokes who was involved in organising the party said that they've got a few other things coming up. So maybe some other relatives are having birthdays or something, and they're putting some parties on for them. And they said they're going to use us again. So we know sort of now that we've got some more bookings that will be coming in. And I know from when we did the hen party a couple of we've been recommended as Shedload from that because they really enjoyed us at that night. So I do know that there's going to be some things sort of coming in, which is going to be wicked. But what we're going to do next time, this is sort of like some things that we're going to improve on. So first of all, my phone is absolutely shocking. So I plug my wire in from my mixer into my phone, and the sound is just tinny. The phone itself is just no good. The screen's quite small as well, and it's like you've got to put the master volumes right up just to be able to hear it, and it doesn't sound too good. So my friend Lee, who does it with me, Lee the layman, he's got a tablet. So next time we're going to bring the tablet, tether to the tablet. It's going to have a bigger screen so we can type the requests in, and that's going to solve that issue. The second issue is something that I can't really solve at the moment because it's a bit of a pricey issue, but my setup is actually starting to show signs of weaknesses, and I actually noticed it last night quite a lot more than usual. So you guys may or may not remember, but I think just over a year ago, I sadly spilt a drink on one of the CDJs, and it was my own fault. I was having a mix. I went downstairs. I got a glass of orange, and I can't remember what I did, but I did something. I just knocked the juice, and it went over one of the CDJs, and it did catch the other CDJ just slightly. So I tried it out. Obviously, left it for a couple of days, and surely enough, it turned back on, and it was working. However, over the time since then, it's been showing signs of weaknesses, and it's starting to show signs of weaknesses. Even more so now, it's starting to get to the point where it's becoming quite hard to use it sometimes. So some of the issues I've been having is when you press the Q button, sometimes the track won't queue, but it's almost like it thinks you've pressed another button instead. So sometimes I'll press the Q button and it'll eject a CD, and I've not even clicked eject. Sometimes it'll think I've clicked the reverse button and it'll put the track into reverse. So you're halfway through a track, and you're queuing up this next track to start bringing it in. It puts it into reverse mode. Sometimes you press the Q and it'll actually put the CDJ into a different mode. So if you're on USB, sometimes you'll press the Q button and it'll put it back to the CD mode. And then you'll lose your track, and then you'll have to go search back through your folders again to put the track up. And then another thing that it does is it doesn't read the right BPM. So sometimes all of a sudden I'll be playing a track at say 130 BPM, and the CDJ will just change and say the track's playing at 200 beats per minute, but it's actually still playing at 130. It's just the screen's reading it different, which that's no issue for me because I know how to mix by listening by the ear, so that doesn't affect me as such. But sometimes you do need to just see what that BPM is, when you're sort of bringing a tune in and stuff, especially when you're doing this kind of gig, because sometimes they don't want tunes to sound too fast and they like them a little bit slower, and you have got to account for it, and sometimes it is nice just to know what BPM the tune is at. And then sometimes sometimes CDs they won't eject, so I'll tap the button and it won't eject, and sometimes I have to turn the CDJ back off and turn it back on, which is a little bit of a gutting thing. And then we move on to the mixer. The mixer is nowhere near as bad as the CDJs, but it's still got its faults. And two of the channel faders, it's like something from inside. Two of the faders have got loose and it moves, and it like moves and it sticks up. So when I'm putting two of the volume faders up on channel 2 and channel 3, it's like something blocks it and stops it from going all the way to the top. So you can't give it the full volume of the channel fader. And you have to put like a little pin or like a little key in there, and you have to just knock it back out of place. But if you're a little bit sort of quicker on the faders and heavier, you'll actually knock this and you'll make it come out, and then you'll make the fader not be able to go the full length, which is a little bit gutting because especially more when you're in like a hardcore mix, or you're having a good session, you're kind of limited to what you can do because you've got to be so gentle on the faders that you don't knock this up. So I've revolved to using the crossfader instead, which I don't mind doing it, but when you've got the channel faders, you can be a little bit more creative with your chopping and stuff. It's just a bit of a shame. So an upgrade is definitely on the cards. It's just upgrades, they come with a hefty price. And, we're not just talking a couple of £100. If you want something that's actually decent, even controller wise, you're looking at like 500, 600 quid. And that's without going for something like, the RXs. If you want something like the DDJs, or you can get one of them real little DDJs, but then they're no good for me and bookings because I have a PC and not a laptop. So then I'd still need a laptop, which would then still boost the price up even more. So essentially, something like an RX or like a Denon Prime, for me, is ideal because it's still standalone, but it's got that sort of like newer, sort of like slick look. It's got that newer features to it, but just in general works just wonders, and it'd work really well for doing gigs. And I hear with some of them, you can actually connect them to things like Spotify. So if you've got Spotify Premium, you can actually just go on Spotify and search in whatever song you want, play it at the gig, and then boom, you've got the track. Because Spotify, it's got hundreds upon hundreds of tunes on there, and so many get added like every day or something like that, which is crazy. Every day, like so many tunes will get added to Spotify, which is crazy, absolutely crazy, and albums get put on there as well. But it's good. It's a good feature to use, and it might definitely be something that's going to be worth sort of having and using, because then if someone does request something, you can just do it that way. So an upgrade is definitely on the cards, but it's just not something that can just happen overnight. But it would definitely, it would go in my favour for gigs, definitely. Because, like I say, when you tap in cue buttons and then the CDJ is doing other things, my own fault for spilling a drink on it. That's what I believe caused it when I spilt a drink on it. But it does play up, and sometimes it'll do it just at the time when you really need it not to do it. Like you're about to bring a tune in and you press the cue button, and then switches back to CD mode. And then, especially like when you're doing an actual mix as well, like a donk or an hardcore mix at home, and you're at the cue point, you're about to bring that next tune in, you tap it, and then boom, it goes into another mode, and then you actually miss the cue point, or sometimes it'll do it just before your cue point's coming up. And then you've got to like really race back into that folder to load that tune up again in time, so you can press it in time and bring it in, you're having a right battle with it. But at least we're not totally handicapped. We can still do these gigs, which is the main thing. Despite a few little issues that the dancers and the crowd, or the people attending the parties, they don't understand, they don't realise, because nothing's ever essentially affected our music, or we kind of was able to control it better. So when it did it, we was quickly on it, put it back into the right mode, etc. But like I say, it's just something that does need addressing and fixing. And I just don't think it's worth getting the CDJs, to be fair. Like you could get them serviced or something, but it would probably cost you a lot to get them serviced for, what you could just put towards getting something new. So at some point, definitely something new will be on the cards, because I want to go for like a full setup, so I can take like full like lighting rigs and everything, and just so I can get a little bit more better at these things, and obviously hopefully we can do this a little bit more better, and we can just enjoy the vibe a little bit more, and get more into it, and hopefully it'll help us go a little bit further as well, get us some more bookings in, which is going to be absolutely solid, and that will obviously be alongside my nightclub bookings, etc. So before we do note off on the stream, one thing I do want to just say is I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has been supporting me during the music, and I want to say a big well done to people who have actually stopped supporting as well, because as much as I've been gaining loads of new supporters and new followers, and new people that have become like friends of mine, there has been people that have gone a little bit sort of on the jealous side, and they don't really support because I've been doing a little bit more than them, and I've sort of come and sort of taken things by storm a little bit, played some pretty decent nights, and I'm always doing something different music wise, and you only have to go onto my Facebook, and it's full of like where I am and what I'm doing next, and I'm always announcing something music wise, or sharing an achievement, or something that I've got coming up, or something I've done. And I was on Facebook today, and I checked on this day, which, if you don't know what that is, it's where you can view your Facebook memories. So I went on there, and it was 3 years ago today that I actually announced my first ever flyer booking with Stomping. So I shared it and made like just a little thank you announcement. So it's been 3 years since I got my first ever official flyer booking, which was to MC at Stomping, which at the time I was absolutely buzzed. And it was amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday, because I'd gone to the April Stomping, And Dave at Stomping, he was always letting me have a go on the mic anyway, so I was like, yeah, it's all cool and gravy. But something changed at the Easter one, and it was like he wanted me to go on the mic even more. And it was like they were kind of wanting to check me out, to think like, you know, we're going to actually, you know, physically book him this time, you know, for the next one. You know, sort of look and think he's actually all right. You know, I'm thinking I might put him on. And he did. I remember it. He sent me an inbox. Asked me if I was there, and he sent me the flyer. And I was just absolutely buzzed. I remember running downstairs and telling my nan at the time, because I was living with her. It was like my first ever booking officially in music, to be on a flyer with, you know, with people that have rocked it out, you know, for years in the whole scene. So I felt really buzzed. I'm looking at the flyer now, because it's on here, it's on my wall, and it says "and introducing MC Noble" right at the bottom, which I just thought was, you know, it was absolutely wicked. And I was on with people like Pursuit, who's rocked out, you know, the whole scene for years. Um, you know, there's people like JW who, you know, again, they've done a fair few things over the years, and Sniper, MC Sniper, he's done a fair few things, and you know, they're all now good mates of mine, which is a really cool thing. But it's crazy to think that it was 3 years ago that happened. That obviously, you know, that obviously I got my first ever flyer booking. And where has the time gone? I mean, obviously the following year we had the coronavirus, so didn't get any bookings, because obviously, well, I say that. I mean, I got a lot of like live stream bookings and started doing a few things that way, but obviously there was no nightclubs. But it's been crazy how you go from sort of just, you know, it being a, you know, and introducing MC Noble on the bottom of a stomping flyer to warming up for Club Filler, John Neal and Charlie Bosch, to hosting for Kayleen Scar, to warming up for Scott Brown, to MCing with people like Nats and Marcus and Elite, and sort of like hosting for, you know, for some amazing people that's going to be on this the Great British Rave Off, to actually having Kelly Lorena on the stage while you're DJing is another absolutely crazy and mad feeling as well. To be on the same lineup as people like Kakuma, Al Storm, Rob IYF, Top Groove, Kenny Sharp, Vibes, Demand, Easy Vibe. You know, it's just absolutely crazy to even being the lead vocalist in a band and doing a gig this Tuesday, which, if you don't know, watch a previous stream about that, because you're going to love it. And that is going to be one hell of a fun thing. And that is this Tuesday. So obviously it's Sunday today, so not tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but that's crazy. So like tomorrow's the day before. That's quite crazy. Quite nerve-wracking as well. To think that I'm going to be on stage, sort of, yes, there we go, doing what I do, but yeah, quite nerve-wracking, because I'm actually attempting to sing this time as well, just a bit of light singing, nothing too crazy, so make sure you get down. But yeah, it's just crazy how everything, oh, and also not forgetting on the poster that fell down, you know, playing alongside and warming up for the man like Ian Van Dal as well, which is crazy. So it's just mad where things have gone in 3 years. And like I say, I've had some amazing supporters who have been there, sort of, you know, supporting me all the time. And then I've had people that have sadly, you know, just jealousy's got the better of them, or you know, they just genuinely think, well, how is this, you know, I've been doing things for years, how has this guy sort of, you know, come along just as a little up-and-comer MC, and then moved this fast and sort of progressed and, you know, done all this in such a short space of time. And I'll tell you sort of one of the ways how I've done it. Well, one thing I've done is I've always stayed humble, kept my feet on the ground. I've never got involved in arguments. I don't argue with people in the scene. I don't get involved in people's drama. And don't get me wrong, enough times people have texted me and tried to get my side of view on things, or so and so's done this to so and so. What do you think? This is happening, that's happening, and I've always kind of just tried to keep sort of out of it. I've always kept positive. So I don't, put on Facebook on a daily basis like, oh, I'm down, I'm depressed, I might sell up all my equipment, or I've had enough no more, or it's been months without bookings, I might just sack everything off. I never put anything like that. I'm always positive. I'm always sharing the next fun thing or the next achievement. I'm pushing myself as much as I can. So, especially like last year before we come out of lockdown, I was doing resident slots on pages. I was boosting myself up. I was playing on as many different pages as I could. Sometimes I'd be doing like two sort of free sets a day. So that's like 3 hours behind the decks, and that sometimes would be like once a week where I'd be on all them pages, pushing myself as far as I could go, getting involved in live streaming events, and just getting my name sort of out there as much as I can. And like I say, just keeping a positive mind, getting rid of the negativity as well, so people aren't serving a purpose in your life. Get rid of it, make way for positive things coming in, because I hate negativity, hate arguing, riles me up, and when I see people in the scene having an argument, and it's always tough, especially when you like both the people. When there's a DJ you like and another DJ you like, and they're not getting on, it's a gutting thing, because you don't want to fall out with any of them. But because you're just friends with one of them, it makes the other person be like, oh, why are you friends with him? And then they get on for you because you're friends with them. Do you know what I mean? And one good thing that I can say as well is that there's like when it comes to promoters and they're putting a night on and they want to book me, they don't have to think like, oh, I won't book that Noble because he don't get on with so and so, and we're putting so and so on. Because I just get along with everyone, and I'm humble and I'm sound with everyone. Like, I'll go B2B with everyone, me. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's one person I won't go B2B with, but he's probably never going to get a booking, so that's all right. But that's only because he did something very, very nasty and wrong. Um, but other than that, like, as far as I'm aware, like, I will go B2B with more or less anybody at an event. So a promoter hasn't got to worry. Whereas with some other people, he might think, oh, these two don't get along, so we better not put them on the same night. Do you know what I mean? But then it's always hard because one will get the ump that they put the other on, and think, oh, why are you booking them instead of me? And then, again, it just causes that like whole load of drama. And that is more or less how I've done it. I've just kept pushing myself, and like I say, I've kept that positive mind. And it's definitely helped, because you can't just sit and twiddle your thumbs and do a mix every now and again and then expect that you're going to get bookings. You have actually got to put effort in. And again, same with pages. If you're on a page and then you're forever like, oh, I can't make it this week, can't do it this week, or I'm not going to be able to do my slot for a while. And sometimes we obviously can't help having commitments, but if you're doing it on the regular and you're not, sometimes it's like 3 or 4 weeks and you're not playing, and then and you just not really putting in effort, you're not going to get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But there we go. So like I say, yesterday last minute booking. So next up for me is the band gig on Tuesday, and then after that it's stomping. It's May stomping with Kakuma. Then we've got Antex Friends, and then there's a couple of things in June. I've got like a little all-day festival thing in Hull, and then I've got someone's birthday, which is an actual rave, not like a pub birthday where you'd play like 70s and 80s. It's a proper rave with DJs and MCs, but it's celebrating someone's birthday, which is a good thing. And it should be quite good. So there's a few different things coming up. July there's something coming up, but there's no flyer yet. And then August, nothing in August, and then September is the Great British Rave Off, which is a big one. So I'm looking forward to that one. Again, Scott Brown, Kenny Sharp, Top Groove, Vibes, Rise and Marcus. Then there's people like Easy Vibe, Delight, loads of people, Bushy. I'm just reading the flyer. We've got Reborn, we've got Coops, we've got MCs Marcus, Ali, Dapper, Nats, Sid P. Sid P is going to have my life because he's kind of like he was one person. He wanted me to get back into the MCing a lot more. And he was like, one of these days I'm going to be at a gig where you're MCing and I'm going to be listening out for you, Sunshine, and I'm going to be listening out for you. And if you're not doing it right, I'm going to come and kick your ass and put you into touch. But no, he's sound. He just, he just wants to see me do well, obviously. Well, it's quite funny, but yeah, finally on the lineup with the man like Sid P, so it'll be wicked for that. So yeah, so there we go. But that's the updates. That's like everything I come live to say. But it was mainly about yesterday. I like to keep my socials all updated about where I'm playing and what I'm doing. And it was a fun one yesterday, so it was enjoyable. So if anybody does want to book me for like birthday parties, weddings, hen nights, just message me through Facebook, Ashley Noble, or message the layman, message Leeton for prices and inquiries, and we'll obviously quote you. Jobs are good, and jobs are splendidly good. And I've got to set all this equipment back up. That's the one annoying thing. You do a gig and you come back and you're all tired, and then you're a bit done in the next day, and then you think, oh God, I've got to set everything back up. But then if I want sound through the PC, I've got to set it back up. If I want to go live, I've got to set it back up. So I always think of it as, I always think of ways to try and motivate myself, to be able to set it all back up. So I think like if I've got something to do, a reason why it needs to be set back up, it'll motivate me to set it back up, which is like an absolutely good thing to do, because otherwise I would just sit there and not set it up for a while, and then it just get in the way, and then I'd be like, oh, these boxes, and then that might in the end might motivate me to set it back up as well. But there we go. But I've got to set it back up. I think I'm going to do it later though, because I'm actually going out. But yeah, I will get it set back up. It's just speakers, mixer, CDJs, wires, boom. I don't have a microphone at the moment. My wire broke, sadly. So we've been using Lee's sound for the gigs, but sometimes I do wish I had one again at home. I need to get a mic wire. That's a job. That's something I need to do this week, because I've got a really nice little electrical shop up the road from me. You can get a nice mic wire from there. Because I think my mic still works, and I've got it. It's just here. Although it needs a bit of like a coat of paint or something. It's all like chipped, look. But the mic itself, I think the mic works fine. It was just the wire that had gone. So I need to pick one up at some point. And boom, then at least if I'm live, I can go like, yes, we are live. Shout people out, because I couldn't do it. I went live last week, and I had to keep walking round to look at the computer screen and read the comments. And then I had to just like wave or put a thumbs up. I couldn't say like, yeah, I'm going to bring that tune in. Or, yes, big shout to so-and-so, thank you for locking in. Because, me wire's gone. But there we go. There we go. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I'm going to be doing some more lives behind the decks on this YouTube coming up very soon. I want to get maybe like some little mix series going where we come live. I think what I might do is I'm going to start maybe possibly coming up with a little schedule. So I think myself and the layman, we're planning to come live once a month, I think. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So there'll be something coming there, and I think each month when we do our live, we're gonna do a different genre. each month. So like one month it'll be hardcore, next month it'll be bounced, and we might do a bit of trance, and then we might do a little bit of like reverse bass and hard style, and hopefully we'll start something going. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Keep your eyes peeled for radio updates. I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to be going on there very soon. It's just the station manager. He's actually taken some time away from the station because he's got a few things going on outside of the station. My friend Lee, he's supposed to be mentoring me up to start doing my own show on the station. But there's like a couple of things that he can't do without the station manager doing it. And obviously he's not in, so we've got to find out exactly what we're going to do. I've got to have like my own cart wall and stuff set up. So like I put a little code in, and it almost like opens my cart wall, and everything, sort of like jingles and everything to do with my show will be there. And you know, my friend Lee, he can't set one of them cart walls up because he's not trained to do so. But sometimes like if the station manager is away, we hijack like another cart wall that's not in use, just for that time being, and we just take it over so I can at least go on. Maybe, but we'll see exactly what happens. But there'll be updates coming very soon, so just keep your eyes peeled on that one. So like I say, like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you all next time.